Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 4027. 27, yeah, 27. 27 or maybe 28, probably. I'm not really sure about the exact number. Today's date is a 29 of April 2026. There is a lot of 29 and 25 and 23. Today's date is 29 April 2026. It's been almost like a morning at 8:41 a.m. Okay, so basically, is this thing today? I'm not gonna ask question. Today I'm gonna kind of like a talk about something that basically is this thing we are means all our friends and things we are planning for trip to Goa, and we are going to Goa. We are planning. We are not going. Like, we are actually planning to decide to go to the Goa. Like, is it kind of like a really good sentence? We are planning to going to go. Sorry about the kind of like a only grammatical mistake. I'm not really like really good that English stuff. Okay, but try to resonate with the message. Okay, so we are deciding for Goa this October. Okay, 1st of October to 4th of October. Now, let me tell you one thing regarding about this Goa tour. Okay, so previously we went to Harihar Fort, we went to Kalsubai Fort. These are the mountains. Okay, and before that we went to the trip, but this trip is a kind of like a different. Is not because just a Goa, but because of like who we are. Okay, like basically it's this thing na ki previously like our friends group we are kind of like a went to the trip multiple times, and it's not really that kind of like a very surprising to us. Okay, it's like a really essential. We have to be spend time together, feel really good and things and that. Okay, but this time is a kind of like a different. The Goa tour is a kind of like a different. Why? It is because of Goa, yeah, that is true, but it is also because of that ki who we are. Like before we are just all boys. Okay, and all friends are actually going. Okay, so it doesn't really matter at all that how do we supposed to be kind of like a something plan the trip or things and that. We are all boys, and we are try to kind of like a something whatever way it should supposed to be possible to save money as much as possible as it can. Okay, and in the boys tour it would be kind of like a manageable in every situation. Okay, but in this tour we are planning for everyone's wife are actually involved in this tour, Goa tour, and not only just wife, their kids too. Okay, and basically we are trying to saving the money. Like basically what is at least this thing now, because of we are kind of like assembly we went to the trip multiple times, and financial issues are always been problem. Okay, so almost like a 6 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago, we are decided that we should supposed to be spend 500 rupees every single month for our trip. Okay, so we are kind of like investing 500 rupees every single month. Okay, to kind of like invest to fund the money when the really required and things and that, because the problem is that now when the tour arrive at that time people don't really have that amount of money at that time. Okay, so that's why we kind of like assembly, it's a really good initiative to kind of like assembly invest at least like a 500 rupees per month, so that it would be kind of like a really helpful for kind of like a future tour and things and that, which is really good initiative, really good, really great. Okay, we started investing, and everyone kind of like invested till now, and still are investing. Okay, now because of we are kind of like investing this much amount of money, like it's not just too much amount of money, we are kind of like investing for almost like a 8 months, and the money is not really that too much we invested. It's not really that 500 rupees, nah, not really that much. Another thing is that na ki like basically is this thing before like previously when the tour is actually kind of like a set, then so many people are kind of like a not want to come to the trip because of the financial issues and things and that. But because of this kind of like a something that investing 500 rupees per month, which will kind of like a really good, feasible, and like a really great. Okay, yeah. Now let's talk about the problem. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the problem. So we are planning for Goa this October, and we are kind of like going with our wife and kids and things and that. The total number of the people are almost like a 20 people minimum, and I'm not counting the kids. Okay, yeah. If I'm started counting the kids, it would be 27. Okay, yeah. Just adults, we are just counting adults, so it would be kind of like a 20. Even multiple people will also kind of like add, so probably we are kind of like assuming almost like a 22 to 25 people are planning for Goa. Okay, yeah. So 25 people are going to the Goa, and basically 25 people is very lot. Okay, it just not just kind of like a 4 or 5 people kind of like a went to the Goa. No, 25 people, that's like a really lot amount of people. Okay, yeah. So yesterday, like we knew that like basically this thing Goa trip was kind of like we are been started talking since almost like a almost like a beginning of this year. Okay, like a January. Okay, yeah. We kind of like decided that we have to go to the Goa and things and that. Okay, yeah. But we never really kind of like a plan financially. Okay, yeah. But kind of like assembly yesterday, like a basically is this thing almost like a couple of days ago, we kind of like a gather, and we are kind of like a planning about the trip. But the trip is the planning about the trip, that how much kind of like a money that we have and things and that. Okay, yeah. So till now means till today. Okay, yeah. Because we are kind of like invested of 500 rupees per month. Okay, and we are actually invested money so well, share market, gold loan and things and that. Okay, yeah. Now obviously is this thing we've been investing for almost like just 8 months, and obviously we will not gonna get that much higher returns. Obviously we will not just returns, we are not getting any kind of like something that key we are getting own money back. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like something that key like a share market and things and that like basically it should supposed to be kind of like somebody invest money for long term, and then and only then you are kind of like getting very higher returns. Okay, yeah. But still we are kind of like somebody just invest just for 8 months, so obviously we will not gonna get that much return. We are kind of like getting money in losses. And how much losses is because of that key like a geological tension and things, and that the war is actually happened between the US and Iran, and the oil sanction price and lot of stuff. So because of this thing, that key the stock market is kind of like somebody just really high, and probably earning profit from that share market and things, and that it's not really possible. Okay, so basically it's this thing that key like whatever the money till we invested, and how much money we could able to be withdrawal are almost like a 65,000 rupees overall. Okay, 65,000 rupees. And when that 65,000 rupees are kind of like heard, like I was like, oh my god, 65,000 rupees is nothing for 25 people for Goa. 65,000 rupees, it's not, literally not. Okay, yeah. And like basically, like let me tell you one thing. I went to the Goa before. Okay, yeah. I went to kind of like assembly in 2021. I went to Goa. Wait, okay, so 2021 we went to Goa. Not we means like our cousin and things, like my family and things and that. Like we all our cousin are kind of like went to the Goa. Okay, in 2021 before COVID. Okay, yeah. And that time, basically is this thing that ki money that I really required for Goa per person is 17,000 rupees per person. 17,000 rupees in 2021. So I was like, and we didn't really kind of like somebody did so many kind of like a good stuff. No, nothing really at all. Just yeah, there is a kind of like issues also happened that ki we miss our flight, so that's why kind of like somebody almost like a 7 to 8 thousand rupees are kind of like a spend on flight ticket. Okay, which is yeah. So this is kind of like a somebody thing, but still Goa cost at that time, if I'm kind of like a remove that price, then per person cost 8 to 9 thousand rupees. Okay, yeah, in 2021. Okay, per person. So like basically is this thing, then I started kind of like a guessing that ki we have only 65,000 rupees. Okay, whatever the money that invested, 65,000 rupees. Okay, yeah. In that 65,000 rupees, how many people will cover? Only 6 to 7 people, hardly 8 people. 8 people are covered in that price. And how many people are we have? Almost like a 25, 22. Like let's just say 20 minimum. Let's just say 20 people. So it is not possible. Okay, and I didn't include the inflation price. Okay, so like, dude, I realized that dude, this is really out of the budget. Literally, we cannot able to be we cannot do this thing. We cannot execute the protocol. We cannot able to execute the financial thing because 65,000 rupees is literally nothing really at all. Then what I did is that I tried to deep research. Okay, yeah. Like I went to the Google Gemini, kind of like hit the deep research and kind of like tell all the prompt that we are these people, we are kind of like somebody going to the Goa and things and that. Okay, yeah, we need these these are kind of like some give me kind of like some statistical budget regarding about how much money that we really require and things and that. Okay, minimum. Okay, yeah. So in that research, Google Gemini kind of like somebody did the research and it kind of like tell us for 25 people, it cost 1.2 lakh rupees for stay, food, other activities, things and that. 25,000 rupees. And I was like, oh my god. Literally, this is the kind of double of our finances. Okay. And my mind got shocked. Okay, and this is not a shock, by the way. Okay, shock is ever still need to come. Okay, yeah. So basically we have to spend this much amount of money. Okay. Then another problem is that the amount of money that we invested. Okay, yeah. Basically how many people are actually invested money? We are kind of investing almost 17 people are actually investing money. Okay, 17 people in our group. Okay. Now the extra kind of somebody 7 to 8 extra kind of 2-3 people are actually coming, basically they are kind of somebody coming, they don't really invested money, but they are kind of say that thing we will kind of paid the money before the trip and things and that. Now this is kind of a bigger problem because literally just there is no money at all. There is no way to execute the Goa in 65,000 rupees and nothing really at all. This is just not possible in every, not possible. Okay, yeah. So the only solution that we occurred, basically I occurred that key, we are actually investing 500 rupees. Okay, yeah. And still we have 4 months left. Today's month is almost April 29. Okay, yeah. May, June, July, August, September and October. So that means we have almost 4 to 5 months. Okay, yeah. So in this 4 to 5 months, I thought that what if instead of investing 500 rupees, we should supposed to be invest almost 800 rupees. Okay, yeah. Obviously it's not really that add any kind of value, but the somehow the burden will kind of something a little bit less. Okay, yeah. 800 rupees. But most of people kind of like I said, dude, I can't manage and things and that and that and that and that. Most of people kind of like say we will kind of like figure it out at the end of the day. We figure it out at the Goa and things and that and that. And when this actually happened, my mind is kind of like a blown. Like literally just like that, na ki, like it's not the boys trip, like basically na, like all the kind of like a people in the group, they are kind of like a thinking that ki we should still plan according to the kind of like a previous trip and things and that. Like before the trip we just kind of like a plan everything at the end. Okay, yeah, just at the end we just kind of like we collect the money and things and that. Sometimes some people kind of like giving too much money, some people does not. It just, yeah. But this is very not possible, dude. Like we have wife, we have their kids, we have other expenses too. Okay, yeah. And basically from every possible point of perspective it is not really possible. Okay, so yeah, either we have to kind of like somebody is this thing, increase the budget, increase the investment, or just skip the Goa for at least like this year. Okay, next year might gonna possible, but yeah. So last night I was kind of like sending the message that dude, we have to kind of like assembly spend almost like 800 rupees per month. People kind of like some people agree, some people kind of like disagree and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. Still, I am kind of like hoping for that tour will definitely gonna establish. Okay, yeah, we will kind of like went to the Goa, but still there is a like basically this is just a very like this is not a typical tour that we kind of like executed before. It's a very like a very difficult tour. Like why is that? Because it involved the wife, it involved the kids too. Okay, the problem is that, and let me tell you one thing. Okay, so when you involve the family in any kind of like a tour or trip and things and that, so what is actually happened that na ki we are like, even if we are in the group, we are try to maintain our family, we are try to satisfy our family first. Okay, because this is kind of like a very essential, because in a tour, like in multiple people of tour, we are kind of like a focus on family first. My wife, my kids, and things and that. Okay, yeah. So just try to understand that key. And our boys troop are kind of like so wild, literally wild. Like, no, I'm not talking about kind of like somebody that key like alcohol and kind of like somebody that strippers and things. No, nothing really at all. It's not that wild. Okay, yeah, by the way, these are not actually alcohol is actually available, but stripper are not actually available here. Okay, yeah. Sorry, but basically is this thing that key wild means what key we like criticize other people, we kind of like tease other people so much in the trip, so much. Now most of the wife are not really like they just kind of like married now, they don't really know the bond between our friends and things and that. Okay, yeah. So if someone said something, then kind of like someone says that ki why you kind of like said to my husband and things and that this might kind of like create a problem and things and that. Like a respect and dignity we have to be maintained when we involve the family, and that is like a big much challenge, because we already facing through problem, specifically money problem. Okay, yeah. And if the money is not actually happened, then the criticism and kind of like things will happen. So in that situation, should we supposed to be concerned the respect and dignity or what, or kind of like things? Because when the bill is actually arrive, we have to pay the bill, we don't have any choice. 25 people are very so many people. Okay, yeah. And kind of like going to the Goa and things, and people are actually thinking about that ki we are kind of like planning to book the villa and things and that. And dude, like literally villa cost 70,000 rupees per day. Literally we are kind of like staying there for 3 days, so that means the entire villa cost almost like a 2 lakh rupees. Oh my god, just a villa, just stay cost 2 lakh rupees. Fuck, like this is kind of like only so much things, and we don't really have any choice because we are 25 people. Okay, we are planning to book for multiple hotel room. This is not really possible to, okay, yeah, because the enjoyment and things and that we do have another kind of like a choice that we should supposed to be book the apartment. Okay, yeah, this would be kind of like a somewhat something better because in the apartment things might be kind of like a cover up. I don't know what will gonna happen. So last night I was kind of like a things, but dude, like is this kind of like a that big kind of like a scenario that you are kind of like a mentioning this thing in the article? Well, basically I don't want to, like yesterday I was kind of like going through this health situation. I wanted to kind of like record the artifact, but I didn't really record because my mind is kind of like a something and that situation. Okay, yeah, because let me tell you one thing now, why is kind of like a matter to me, because it is matter. Okay, yeah, for me friends are very much essential. It is the source of my happiness. Okay, and another thing is that na ki what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki it is source of my happiness. And another thing, I really wanted to go to the trip because of that. Ki I haven't really been anywhere for last year, nothing really at all. I'm kind of like a booked up here, and I wanted to little bit of free. This trip will kind of like add so much amount of value in me, and I wanted to kind of like experience that moment with my close people. So this is very much essential for me, and I wanted to kind of like a thing. I want that ki everything should supposed to be happen smoothly, not just kind of like some things that ki people just. So basically today we are also again discuss regarding about that planning and things and that, and we have to figure it out. Okay, yeah, this is it.